Welcome to the first season and the first episode of From Principles to Practice, the podcast where we bridge the gap between timeless biblical wisdom and our everyday challenges. I am your host, Dr. Ivon Valerie, an author, the lead pastor at Faith and Works Ministries, and a certified parenting teens life coach. Through my journey as an author, I've delved deep into faith, loneliness, and community. I am confident that together we can apply the practical aspects of biblical principles in our everyday lives to experience God's best that He has in store for us. Here, we are not just about discussing spiritual concepts. No, we are about transforming them into actionable, practical outcomes that resonate with our lives daily. For this first season, I have decided to focus on my upcoming book, Never Alone: Overcoming Loneliness Through Community. A book I wrote that really deals with the silent epidemic of loneliness in our overly connected world. Every week for this season, we'll explore powerful themes from this new book. We will engage with transformative insights and connect through stories that bring us closer to the principles we so dearly cherish. This podcast is a community for seekers, thinkers, and believers ready to live out the lessons we discuss. Here, you are not alone. You are a part of a community that values your journey and also your contributions. Whether you're seeking deeper community connections or hoping to enhance your spiritual journey, you've come to the right place. This is where your experiences meet biblical advice, your questions find deeper answers, and your faith meets real-world applications. So let's dive into today's episode and transform timeless wisdom into modern-day miracles. Welcome once again to From Principles to Practice. Let's get inspired, get motivated, and make these principles practical together. Today's episode is titled Lonely in the Crowd. We live in a world where technological advancement promises unending connectivity, yet the human soul pines for meaningful interaction that technology alone cannot provide. This statement from my new book, Never Alone, captures a profound truth about our modern society. Despite the ease with which we can call, text, or even video chat with someone across the globe, many of us are experiencing a type of loneliness that's hard to shake. It seems paradoxical. In an age of tools designed to bring us closer, we drift apart, often feeling more isolated than connected. There are many things missing, but two of them stand out right now. They are depth and intentionality. Technology, for all its benefits, often encourages brief, surface-level interactions that lack the depth we inherently crave. These interactions, while convenient, rarely satisfy our deep need for meaningful connection, the kind of connections that nourishes our souls and enriches our lives. Today, I challenge us to break this cycle. Let's start by choosing one technology-based habit we can replace with more personal interactions. For instance, instead of sending a quick text to check in on a friend, you could call them and spend a few minutes listening to how they're doing. Or perhaps instead of scrolling through social media during your breaks, take a walk with a coworker and discuss how their day is going. Here's another actionable step. Organize a tech-free gathering. It could be a dinner, a game night, or maybe just some coffee with friends. At that gathering, everyone must agree to keep their phones away. The focus is being present with each other, engaging in real conversations without the distractions of notifications and alerts. These small shifts in how we use technology can lead to big changes in the quality of our interactions. By consciously choosing depth over convenience, we can start to fill the void that digital communication often leaves behind. It's about creating space and opportunities for genuine connections where we can each be seen, heard, and valued. As we continue today's episode, consider how you can apply these ideas in your own life. Remember, every meaningful interaction starts with a choice to go deeper. From the Bible, we draw timeless wisdom on how ancient principles of community can be applied today to strengthen our social networks. This quote from the book Never Alone tells us that the Bible is rich with examples of community, from the early gatherings of believers in the New Testament to the shared lives of the Israelites in the Old Testament. These scriptures show us that community is more than just being together. It's about truly sharing our lives. In Acts chapter 2, verse 44 to 47, the Bible describes how the early Christians had all things in common, providing for each other's needs, breaking bread with glad and generous hearts, and growing together in faith. This model of community is profoundly relevant today. It challenges us to look beyond our modern notions of independence and self-sufficiency to embrace a more interconnected and supportive way of living. So, what does this look like in practical terms? It starts with intentional interactions and a commitment to foster real connections within our circles. Consider forming or joining a small group where real and meaningful sharing happens. This could be a Bible study group, a prayer circle, or a community service team. The key here is to ensure that these groups are not just about completing tasks or studying texts, but really about forming personal bonds. In this group, you share your struggles and victories, you support each other's growth, and you celebrate each other's achievements. Additionally, these groups can become a miniature version of a church, reflecting the diversity and unity of the body of Christ. Each member can bring unique gifts and perspective, as Apostle Paul teaches in 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 27. Now you are the body of Christ, and each of you is part of it. This means everyone has a role to play, and each role is crucial to the health and vitality of the community. Let's also remember the role of hospitality in building community. Romans chapter 12 and verse 13 encourages us to share with the Lord's people who are in need. Opening our homes and lives to others isn't just an act of kindness. It's a foundational practice for being deeper connected and thriving in community. As we continue to explore these biblical principles, let's think about how we can implement these ideas in our own lives. It might start small, but remember, every great movement began with a few committed individuals. Let's be these individuals today. Whatever you can do today, do it to help build or to help just strengthen community. Loneliness is a collective challenge that calls for a deeper understanding and a renewed commitment to foster genuine connections. This statement from Never Alone urges us to confront loneliness not as isolated individuals. Loneliness affects us in different ways, and its solutions lie within the power of collective actions. We must become proactive to help alleviate loneliness for ourselves and others. Let's think locally. Look around your neighborhood, your church, or even your workplace. Is there someone who seems isolated or could use some company? Perhaps an elderly neighbor, a co-worker eating lunch alone, or maybe a new member at your church. A simple invitation for coffee or for an ice cream or a walk could be the first step in breaking the cycle of isolation for them and also for you. Let's consider how we can use our interests or hobbies to create connections. For instance, if you love books, you might start a monthly book club to discuss literature and life. Or if you're passionate about gardening, organize a community garden day where neighbors can come together to plant flowers or vegetables. These activities aren't just about hobbies, but they're about creating spaces for people to connect over shared interests. It's also important to leverage technology positively. If physical meetings are challenging, consider setting up virtual check-ins and group chats where friends or community members can share daily experiences or simply ask for support. Technology should be a bridge, not a barrier, to meaning interactions. Let's not underestimate the power of visibility and advocacy. Raise awareness about the impact of loneliness and the importance of community in your social circles or maybe just on your social media platforms. Openly discussing these issues can encourage others to step forward and seek connections. This week, I challenge you, my wonderful listeners, to choose and implement one of these actions. By doing so, you are taking a proactive step towards dismantling the walls of loneliness and building bridges of fellowship in their places. Today, we've learned about the depth of loneliness in our hyper-connected era and the biblical approach to community. We have discussed and discovered that true connections are about quality, not quantity, and that community is built on shared experiences and mutual support. Applying today's lessons, start with one small, deliberate action. Whether it's replacing screen time with FaceTime, engaging in community service, or initiating a new group in your neighborhood, every step counts towards building stronger connections and combating loneliness. Remember, this journey is about transforming insights into actions. That being said, please share your stories and your questions to fromprinciplestopractice@gmail.com. We would love to include your stories or questions in our upcoming podcast. Don't forget to visit our website at podcast.fromprinciplestopractice.com. You can also support us there financially with a monthly subscription of your choice. Remember to subscribe, download, share, and post about our podcast to help us spread the word and make these principles practical together. Again, I have been your host, Dr. Ivon Valerie, and you have been listening to From Principles to Practice. Until next time, stay blessed.
Goodbye.